Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn a yet another concept of Python. This concept is known as returning values from a function. Now, students, you understand that whenever a function is to be called, we write a statement which has the name of the function, then open bracket and close bracket, and maybe the arguments that is required for the function within this open and close bracket. Whenever I write this statement to call a function, the control of the interpreter jumps to the function, that is the definition part of the function, executes the function, and again returns back to the line which called the function. So let us see first and understand what actually I mean by that. So for that, we'll start the Python shell and go to the script mode. So we move to the script mode and let us define a function here to understand it. Let the name of the function be fun, and suppose the function has no parameters. The function has only a value 20 and it prints the value 20. How it prints the value 20? It writes print A. And I come back from the function. Now to call this function, I will have to write this statement. Now you all know that only defining the function doesn't mean the function would be executed. For the function to work, we need a statement of this sort. This is the calling statement. So what is the flow of execution? When is the function going to execute? The function is going to execute as and when this code runs, this statement runs. So with this statement, what happens? With this statement, whenever the interpreter is going to execute this statement, the interpreter is going to switch control from this line to the definition line of the function. So the definition line of the function is here. Now it would go into the function, put a value 20 to the variable a and print the value of a, that is it would print 20. What next? Now as the work of the function fun has been complete, the interpreter returns the control back to fun. Now fun, as it has been already completing, that is its work has already been completed, it then sends the control to the next line, that is here, and whatever code would have been in the next line, that gets executed. So student, you understood the flow of control, that is the flow of execution. Once more I'll iterate. Whenever function fun will be called, that is whenever this line is going to execute, the control would be sent by the interpreter to the definition part of the function. It would go here, the control is going to go here. Now after the definition part has been switched on, whatever code is written within the function, it gets executed one by one. So the first code is a gets 20, then the second code is print the value of a. So 20 is printed. After the function's execution is over, the control comes back to the line which called the function. So it comes back here. As this work is over, now control is shifted to the next line, and whatever would have been written in the next line, that would have been executed. Now what we have to understand here is, when fun function completed its work and the control was being sent back to this line, we can get back a value in this given calling line. That is, we can get back a value here. Who will send the value? Obviously, fun function would send the value. After printing print A, after printing the value of A20, we have the power, we have something which we can write here. What it would do? It would help us to come back with a value, and that value would be overwritten here. What we'll say technically? We'll say our function fun is returning a value back to the calling statement, and whatever value function fun will return, that will get overwritten into fun. Let us see here. Let us change the code to this. So what does it mean? It means that as we know that function fun is going to return something, whatever function fun returns, we know that that is going to be overwritten here. So whatever value gets overwritten here, that we will send to x. So if I now print x, if I write print x, then x is going to show us the value that function fun returned to us. Now how can we return a value? To return a value, we have to write this statement. We write return. Return is the keyword which helps a function to return back a value to the calling statement. That is the statement that called that given function. The function, while returning control back to the calling statement, can return a value as well. Suppose I want to return the value 100. So I'll write return 100. So when I write return 100, what happens? Now, when fun function completed its work, when the control was being given back to this line, here, this line, then with the control, the value 100 also came back. That is, function fun returned a value 100. Whatever value function fun returned, that got overwritten here like this. Internally, it is not going to overwrite the code. And whatever here actually 100, whatever overwrote this given fun function line, that gets into x and x prints it. So if we run the code, what value we are going to get? We are going to get two values. One value is 20 because print A prints 20, and another value is 100. Why? Because print x prints 100. Let us see. So it is asking for a name. So I give a name R5 because return. So any name I give R5. Now see, 20 and 100. So what do we see here? A new concept. What is the concept? A function can return a value. A function has the power to return a value to the statement which called it. And whatever value comes to the statement which called it, that overrides the statement itself. Okay, suppose I don't have anything. I don't write anything here. Then even 100 is going to come. But I would be unable to use that 100. That 100 goes in vain. When the 100 overrides the calling statement, that is this statement, we are in no position to use that 100 because we have not collected that 100 anywhere. So to collect 100, I gave x is equal to. So whatever came got stored in x, and we can further use that value. Suppose you don't want to use that value, you want to only see the value. So you can write print. So if you are writing print, what it means? That whatever value comes from fun function, print it. So whatever value that comes from fun function, print it. Let us see what it does. It would do the same thing, but I am not using a variable x. We are printing the value whatever comes. So we write here. See, 20 and 100 value we execute the same answer, but we actually used lesser variables. So my code became more efficient as less memory is being used. But what actually we are sacrificing? We are sacrificing the collection of the value that came. It cannot be used deferred. That is, afterwards we cannot use it. To use it afterwards, that is from some line beneath the line print fun, we have to collect it somewhere. So x is equal to fun works while we want to use it afterwards. It would be stored in x and we can use the value afterwards even. Now students, what happens if we had not written return 100? If we had not written return 100, so the function fun was incapable of returning something back to the calling statement, that is back here. So we would have said that this function fun is a non-returning function, while the previous fun which returned 100 was a returning function. Non-returning functions are also known as void functions, and returning functions are known as non-void functions. Students, one more thing that is very important to understand is that if we don't return anything back to the calling statement, see this function fun now, it doesn't return anything back to the calling statement here, which is highlighted, this statement. It technically means that function fun is returning a keyword none. What it is returning? It is returning a keyword none. That means if we don't return a value by ourselves, if a programmer doesn't use the keyword return with some value, then the interpreter returns a keyword none back. So when we don't return anything, the interpreter returns a keyword none. Do you want to see? Let us see. Now, what would be printed then? Then 20 would be printed, and fun function, while it is going to be printed, it is going to print none. See none. So what it means actually, none in Python means nothing. None means empty. None in Python means empty. We want to, means the Python interpreter wants to tell us that our function returned nothing. Our function returned none. None means our function returned empty thing, nothing from the called part to the calling part. Now students, there are other ways which can be used. See, I could have written here return only without a value. If I had written return only without a value, that also according to Python interpreter means that I am returning empty. That is, I am returning none. I am returning nothing. You can well see the answer while I execute. The output will be clear to you. See. Again none. That means even if I don't write this statement return, or I write this statement return with nothing, they mean the same thing. It means that in the previous case, the Python interpreter returned none for me. In this case also, I said returned with nothing. So the interpreter said, okay, that means you are returning with none. So it sent none. There is a third way also. I can write here simply none, return none. Three of them means the same thing. Writing nothing, writing return, or writing return with none. Three of them means the same thing. Let us see now how it works. See the same answer. So you may write a return, you may not write a return, or you may write return none. All the things produce the same output. That means we are returning with none. And what is none in Python? None is a keyword in Python which helps us to understand that we are coming back empty-handed. We have nothing with us when we are coming back after executing a function. So understood, students? And this sort of function is known as what? This sort of function is known as void function in Python. So they are void functions. And you students have now understood what actually none means. None means empty in Python. None means an empty value. Okay. Now let us come and see some functions which are non-void. That means that return a value. So we will see some non-void functions which return a value. Let us say in the previous case we saw we returned with 100. Let us now write I want to return with A. What is A? A is a variable. In the previous case what we returned back with? In the previous case we returned back with a literal, a direct value, but here we are saying return with A. This statement is going to give back the value that A has. So what is going back into the calling statement? What are we returning with from fun function? We are returning with 20. So let us see how it works, and whatever comes it would be printed. So it is now 2020. So what are the things that can be written with return? We can give a direct literal, that is direct value, or we can give a variable name. We can even give an expression. Let us see. We'll give an expression now. Now how expressions are given? I can write here A into 3 by 2 plus 4. That can also be returned. Let us see what it is going to return. 20 into 3 by 2. That means 60 by 2. 60 by 2 is 30. 30 and plus 4 is 34. Let us see what it does. But as by is there, it should be 34.0. Let us see what it does. So it gives 34.0. So what have we learned? We have learned that we can return back a value directly, or we can even give a variable name, or we can give an expression. Now students, how many values are we returning here? One value. We are returning one value. C and C++ students had the capability of returning one value from a function. But Python is something different. In Python, I can return more than one value. Let us see how I'll return more than one value. I'll write 20, 30 here. So Python will allow me. C and C++ would have never allowed me to return two values in this way. They had a different way. But here we can directly write 20, 30 and it would be returned. So what should be printed by print fun function here? That is, from this line what should be printed? Let us see. We know that 20 is going to be printed by print A. But what this line is going to print? So we will run it again. See, it gives both the values. And in what way it gives it? It gives it as a tuple. See, 20 and 30 come back as tuple. Can we store that value? Let us see. Can we store that value? I write x is equal to fun. You now understand what x is equal to fun means. Whatever value come would go in x. And then we'll write print x. Let us see the type of x. What is x? Says type. So we all know that because it was a tuple we saw in the output, so x should be of tuple type. Let us try to run it. So we run it. What we see? 20, 30. Which type? Tuple. So whenever you send multiple values and you keep one variable to store those multiple values, the variable that stores the value is of tuple type. Understood, students? We can store variety of values. That is, we can return variety of values. Here I can return a string also with it. See? And I can again return a float value. Whatever I want, I can return. So everything is going to come and get stored in X. So function fun is going to return 20, 30, Amit, 45.0. And all of them are going to be stored in X as a value, as an element of a tuple. So X would be a tuple. Let us see. So you have seen. Now students, we would like to understand, or we will like to know, can each of these values be given to their respective variables? That is, can we write more than one variables here? X, Y, Z, W, because 4 values are coming. What would happen if we write this? Students, if we write this, then X will get 20, Y will get 30, Z will get Amit, and W is going to get 45.03. And what is the type of each of them? Let us see. So this is written. Let us now try to write print Y and type of print Y, print Z, then type of print Z. Let us write all these things so that we'll understand each of them singly. So we'll write here Y, Z, and W, and we'll see the types. So W. So now we'll see the type. Let us see. See, 20 of X, X had 20. So when we printed X, 20, and 20 is of which type? Int. 30 is of which type? Int. Amit string, and 45.03 float. So each of this, that is X, Y, Z, W, they got the respective values and their type was equal to the type of the value that they got out of these 4 values. 20 as given to X, X is of integer type. 30 given to Y, Y becomes of integer type. Amit has gone to Z. So Z is of string type, and 45.03 has gone to W. So W is of float type. So students, we saw here that when more than one values are returned from a function, you have the power of storing these values singly in each of the variables, or you can store all of them in a single variable. So when you store them in a single variable, that single variable works like a tuple, and when you store them in more than one variables, each variable has the same type as its respective value, that is the value which it has got. So I think students, you have understood. Let us now try to return some more data structure. Like we would try to return a list, we will try to return a dictionary. So let us create a list here. So we create a list 20, 30, 40 and 50. So this is a list. Can we return a list? Let us see how to return a list. So we'll write here A. Now when one list is coming as a whole, so we should not keep more than one variable, because one thing is coming, the list as a whole is coming, so we would have only one variable. Let us put them in comment. So now what is X going to print, and what would be the type of X when a list is coming? Let us see. See, 20, 30, 40, 50, again 20, 30, 40, 50, and class is list. So this line shows us that we have returned with the same list which A had, and what is the type of X here? Type is list. So you can return back a list. Even you can return one item of a list. You can return say A0 with. Now if I write, I know that you understand 20 comes because we have used 0th subscript number. And what is its type? Let us see. So A had 20, 30, 40, 50, but we returned with only 20, and 20 is of integer type. So X becomes of integer type. You can use that slicing also. You had seen that colon say 2. So 0, 1, 2. So what should come? 20, 30, 40. And how it should come? As a list. Okay. So because it starts from, if I have given 0 to 1, so what it would do? I have given 0 to 2, so it takes 1 less. So 0 and 1. So you have understood 0:2. When list slicing is done, as we have given the upper boundary as 2, it always works with 1 less than 2 then. So it gives only the value of 0 and 1. So 20 and 30 it gave. So you now see how we return values. We can return a part of a list. We can return the whole list. So that is in our discretion. We can use that. Now let us try to return a tuple. In the same way I can return a tuple. So I can put here a bracket and I'll say return a tuple. Let us see whether tuple slicing works or not. It works, and here also 20 and 30 it gives back. So in tuple also you can give everything back from the tuple or a part of the tuple using subscript number or tuple slicing. So students, you have seen how list data structure, tuple, they can be returned. Similarly, you can return, say, a dictionary also. So if you return a dictionary, you have this sort of arrangement. Say I take 2 values here. I take 2 values here. And I try to return it. So here this given thing is not going to work because list don't have any dictionary don't have any subscript number. So here we cannot use this. We can use this sort of thing. So the keyword 20 is to be used. Let us see how it works. See, only Ajay came. Why? I said the value that is in key 20. So Ajay was sent back. And what is its type? It is string. So you can see how I have sent it. I could have sent everything. How I could have sent everything? In this way. I would have sent everything. So I said return A. So everything comes back. 20 Ajay, 30 Sunil. See, if I write A dot keys, then what would happen? What is coming back? Let us see. See, only keys are coming back, 20 and 30. If you write A dot values, so whatever you like, you can come back with it. So values came in, Ajay and Sunil. So I think students have understood how we can return back values from a function. Function returns value. Students, it is time to understand that the flow is bidirectional. Why I am saying the flow is bidirectional? Because students, see, you could have used this fun function even for parameters. Suppose we are using 2 parameters here, n and m. So while working, I had to send 2 values. Now what is the direction of the value we are sending? Now direction is from calling part to the called part. So 20 and 30 is in which statement? It is in the calling statement. And where it is going? To the called function. So what is the direction? Direction is from this given statement here to here. So while we are going to run the given function, we are sending value from the calling statement to the called statement. And what this return is doing, after the execution of the function, it is sending the values from the called function to the statement that called it. So isn't it bidirectional? We are sending value and we are receiving value back while calling the function. So our function is capable of doing both the things. We can send value as well as receive value. See, n and m had been sent. So why not write n and m here so that they can be also printed and see what it does. See, 20, 30 is there after 20 Ajay and 30 Sunil. So I think students, you have understood how it works. So this is how our functions work. They can take parameters, they can return values. So they can take values while we go to execute the function, they can return values after the execution of the function. And you saw how we returned the values. So this is what returning values from function means, students. So this is over for today. We have understood how functions return value. You understood that there is something called void function and non-void function. Void function returns none and non-void function returns a value. See, void function can return a value by the help of Python interpreter, or we can even write ourselves return none. Understood? So both the things are possible. And this is all for today, because we have understood what return means. In the next video, what we'll do is we will have a PowerPoint presentation. We'll see the same thing and understand the same concept again, so that we can fully utilize this concept of Python, the concept of returning functions, and we can be able to write functions which may take parameters even and return values even. So students, thank you and have a very nice day ahead. Thank you, students.